One of the first things people notice about a truly high-value woman is her presence. Not just her looks, not just her smile, but the way she carries herself. It's that confidence that radiates out of her without her even trying. And here's the important part. It's not arrogance. It's not loud or performative. It's not about walking into a room and demanding attention. It's about walking into a room already whole, already centered, already enough. Confidence at its core is a psychological state. It's self-trust. It's the quiet belief that no matter what happens, you can handle it. And when a woman has that kind of self-trust, she doesn't feel the need to chase approval. She doesn't measure her worth by how many compliments she receives, how many men notice her, or how many people validate her. She already knows who she is, and that knowledge frees her. Now let's contrast that with arrogance, because people confuse the two all the time. Arrogance is insecurity in disguise. Arrogance walks into a room needing to be seen, needing to dominate, needing to remind everyone of her value because deep down, she doesn't believe it herself. Confidence doesn't need that performance. It's subtle. It's in the eye contact, in the calm way she speaks, in the way she listens as much as she talks. Men can sense it immediately. It's magnetic because it's rare. Psychologists will tell you that humans are wired to seek certainty. We're drawn to people who are grounded, who don't waver with every opinion or external pressure. When a woman radiates confidence, she becomes an anchor in the chaos of life. And that's why men find it irresistible. It's not just physical attraction, it's psychological security. Her presence signals, here's someone who knows herself, and that stability is deeply attractive. Now, how does a woman build that kind of confidence? It's not something you slap on like makeup. It's cultivated over time. Confidence grows every time she honors her word to herself. Every time she sets a small goal and follows through. Every time she makes a decision based on her values instead of people pleasing. Confidence is not a single grand gesture. It's the accumulation of consistent self-respect. Think about it. A woman who says, I'm going to start my day with discipline, and she does. A woman who says, I won't tolerate disrespect, and she enforces it. A woman who says, I am enough even if no one validates me, and she lives that truth. That consistency becomes the foundation of her quiet confidence. And men feel it. They may not always articulate it, but they sense it. They sense the difference between a woman who's putting on a mask and a woman who's comfortable in her own skin. And here's the irony. The less she tries to impress, the more impressive she becomes. The less she seeks approval, the more approval she receives. Why? Because confidence without arrogance communicates abundance. It says, I don't need anything from you to feel whole. If you're here, great. If not, I'll still be fine. That is a powerful energy. It shifts the dynamic completely. Because the truth is, neediness pushes people away. The more you grasp, the more people pull back. But confidence is open-handed. It doesn't cling, it doesn't beg, it doesn't fear loss. It creates space, and people are drawn into that space because it feels safe, it feels calm, it feels real. Now let me make this practical. If you're listening to this and you're thinking, that sounds great, but I don't always feel confident, remember, this confidence is not the absence of fear. It's not about never doubting yourself. It's about acting anyway. It's about choosing to trust yourself even in uncertainty. That's why I call it self-trust. You don't have to feel like the most confident person in the room to radiate confidence. You just have to consistently choose authenticity over performance. You just have to speak honestly, stand firmly in your values, and treat yourself with respect. That alone communicates volumes. There's also a deeper philosophical layer here. Ancient thinkers like the Stoics believed the highest form of strength is self-mastery. Not control over others, but control over yourself, your mind, your emotions, your reactions. A high-value woman doesn't need to prove her worth externally because she already rules her internal world. She is aligned with herself, and when you meet someone aligned, it changes the entire atmosphere around them. Men find this irresistible not just because it's attractive, but because it's inspiring. A confident woman without arrogance challenges a man to rise. She doesn't settle for less, not because she's harsh, but because her very presence communicates higher standards, and the right kind of man wants to meet those standards. Now here's the subtle but profound truth: true confidence is humble. It doesn't have to announce itself. It doesn't need to compete. It simply exists. It makes space for others instead of overshadowing them. And that balance, strength with humility, is exactly what makes a woman unforgettable. So if you want to embody this secret, don't focus on external performance. Focus on internal alignment. Ask yourself, do my actions match my values? Do I keep promises to myself? Do I carry myself like someone who knows her worth? If the answer is yes, you won't have to try to radiate confidence. It will naturally flow from you. And the beauty of it is, this kind of confidence doesn't just make you irresistible to men. It makes you powerful in every area of life. It helps you attract better relationships, better opportunities, better environments, because you stop chasing and start choosing. You stop trying to prove and start being. That's the secret. Radiating confidence without arrogance isn't about being the loudest voice in the room or the most flawless face in the crowd. It's about being the most grounded presence in any space you walk into. And that, more than anything, is what makes a high-value woman unforgettable. So let me leave you with this: you don't need to shout to be seen, and you don't need to beg to be chosen. True confidence is silent, steady, and undeniable. Build it, and it will speak louder than words ever could. When you think about what truly makes a woman high value, it's not just how she carries herself, it's also how she protects herself. And that protection doesn't come from walls or from shutting people out. It comes from boundaries. Boundaries are not about keeping love away, they're about keeping self-respect close. A woman who knows her worth understands that love without respect isn't really love. She understands that attention without consistency isn't commitment. She understands that a man's words without actions are just noise. And because she knows this, she refuses to settle for crumbs when she deserves the whole meal. Let me put this simply: boundaries are the language of self-worth. When a woman sets boundaries, she's not being difficult. She's declaring, this is how I expect to be treated because this is how I treat myself. That's powerful. That's magnetic. Men don't just notice it. They respond to it, even if they don't fully understand why. And here's the psychological truth: people treat you the way you allow them to treat you. Every time you let disrespect slide, every time you make excuses for someone's bad behavior, every time you lower your standards just to keep the peace, you're teaching them what's acceptable. But the high-value woman doesn't teach people to mistreat her. She teaches them to rise to her level or lose access to her presence. Now, some people hear the word boundaries and they think coldness, distance, rejection. But that's not what it is at all. Boundaries are not walls, they're doors. They say, you are welcome in my life, but only if you come with respect, only if you come with honesty, only if you come with genuine care. That's not selfishness, that's wisdom. Think about it from a philosophical perspective. The Stoics believed that virtue is living in alignment with truth. And the truth is this: when you know your worth, you don't negotiate your dignity. You don't barter your self-respect for temporary attention. You don't compromise your values for short-term comfort. A boundary is simply truth put into action. Men find this deeply attractive because it creates clarity. It says to them, here are the standards. If you want to be part of my world, here's what that requires. And the right kind of man doesn't feel threatened by that. he feels challenged. He feels inspired to meet her where she stands because her standards awaken his own higher self. Now let's talk about the opposite, because this is where many people get trapped. When a woman ignores her worth, she starts making exceptions. She starts saying, well, he didn't call when he said he would, but maybe he's just busy. Or he raised his voice, but maybe I pushed him too far. Or he disappears for days, but at least he comes back. Those are not boundaries. That's bargaining. That's slowly giving pieces of yourself away until you wake up one day and realize you're empty. The high value woman doesn't